Hey guys, Micah from Black Bear Custom Kydex. I have a sheath for you today on a really old model. This is a Schrade old timer. I'm not sure if it's still in production. I don't believe it is. And if I don't know when it left production, or I don't really know the history of the knife. I just know it was made back in the day when all of Schrade's products were USA made. So I would expect that the quality of the steel is quite a bit higher. So, excuse me, everyone. In any event, this is my stepdad's knife. He had the last time I saw him, he gave it to me to make him a sheath. He just said, you know, because the original sheath that was still with it, this leather thing, was just bogged down with all kinds of grodiness, mud, water, all this stuff, and it was just falling apart. The thing is probably 40 years old or so. So it was in really bad shape, just thin leather. So of course I made him a Kydex sheath, but I decided to do something new with it, something cool. I have a bunch of different animal skins that I'm trying to mess with. I just did one in gator skin, and this one here is some kind of snake. I say some kind of snake because the name of it was in a different language. I bought it off an eBay seller here in the US, but it was advertised as whatever type of snake in some other language. I just haven't looked it up, but I would expect it's something. This almost looks like cobra or something along those lines. I'll try and figure that out for you guys and drop that in the comment or in the description box. But in any event, it came to me as like a light gray color. Here, hold on, I'll show you the. All right, so this is the color it came to me in, and I would be lying if I told you that I knew whether or not this was dyed. I truly have no idea. It's my suspicion that this is not dyed, just because there are some complex colors. If you look really close, there's like a little black line down through every one of the scales. So to me that looks like a natural coloring, but I can't be 100% sure. But in any event, I thought the look, especially with the knife, was just not quite right with the gray, so I decided to try some leather dye on it, and sure, you know, lo and behold, it worked quite well. So the difference is that the snakeskin is a lot more water resistant than cowhide. So what I ended up doing was just brushing a layer on and letting it sit for a little bit, and then I used a heat gun to kind of dry it a little bit, and then I did waxing. I put some snow seal on it. I put a little mink oil paste, and so hopefully this is waterproof now, as well as dyed. But the dye is on there good. It's not coming off. It's not rubbing off with any kind of aggressive touch, and I'm really impressed with the snakeskin for sort of how rugged it feels. It's very thin. It's incredibly easy to work with. It's not cheap, but this compared to cowhide is, I would say, on the order of magnitude easier to work with. Probably 5 times easier to work with. I mean, I made this whole sheath in like a little under 2 hours. So usually when I have to leather something, it takes, you know, that basically triples the time of the sheath, just because of the amount of care that has to go into the leather process. But this doesn't pick up marks as easily as leather. It's very durable, and I think it looks really cool on here. So in any event, I knew he wanted a belt sheath, so I threw on a combat loop. He has a couple tech locks from me already, but I decided to try combat loop because I don't think he's experienced one of these before, and I like these quite a bit. So we got that there. You can see from the drill hole pattern, you know, I did something funky with the angles. So of course, using the first and third drill hole, you're going to get vertical. Excuse me. You're going to get the vertical position you see here, or of course you can turn the clip 90 degrees and you can wear it horizontally, or if you use the second and fourth drill holes, that would, I'll line it up for you just so you can see. That would orient the sheath at that angle so you could wear it as a cross draw. He is left-handed, so this currently is set up as a left-handed vertical sheath, but of course he could certainly choose to wear it any other way. It is ambidextrous and 3-position tech lock design. So let's check out the fit. With this type of knife, so if you look at it, there's almost nothing to grab onto for contour. Right before the blade stock comes, or right before the blade comes out of the handle, you can see just that little notch on the handle. So that's really all I had to work with. But the more I looked at it, the more I decided that there had to be a better way, because that just, I could get it to stay with no rattle, no play, but the retention wasn't very good. So if I turned it upside down and shook it, it would drop the knife out. So what I've decided to do was I used, just like I would do with an Essie Azula, I used a little bit of the actual bottom of the choil here, this little notch, and then I molded very aggressively around the handle. So what it's doing essentially is, excuse me, I'm so sorry guys, I'm yawning up a storm right now. Alright, so I molded underneath it, but then I took the knife out and I pinched it even more. So it wants to seat a knife that is smaller than this. It wants to actually, because of that, lift the handle up. And at the same time, the way I molded right behind this little nub, it wants to push the knife forward. So those two opposing pressures, essentially it's pulling, it'd be like if I pulled apart here, like that. That opposing pressure is what's holding this knife in. And the retention is excellent. I was really surprised when I discovered it, how well that would hold. So, can't hear much of a click. Here, I'll give you a close-up click. And that's just an honest, slow-speed click. If I want to, I can jam the knife home, and yeah, I guess it's not much louder like that. But in any event, so it's not much of a click, but you can hear it. You can definitely feel it. And checking out the retention, I'm trying this left-handed. I'm not left-handed, so there you go. Ballistic one-handed draw, even with kind of a funky shaped blade. This is a skinning knife, I believe. So, no rattle, no play. The knife doesn't want to fall out of there. I'm really pleased with this. It feels great. You get a really good purchase on the handle before drawing. Your finger spits right out into that choil, so you don't have to readjust your hand. Just everything came out really nice on this sheath. So I wanted to share it with you guys, not only because it came out well, but because this snakeskin is an option that I am offering for you guys, and it would probably be priced similarly to how I would price just cowhide, because this is more expensive but does save me some time versus cowhide, which takes longer. So yeah, so that's what I got for you. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Schrade Old Timer. Let me know what you think of Schrade today versus Schrade 40 years ago. Like I said, that's just a figure I'm pulling out of my hat because I don't actually know anything about the history of this knife, but just looking at it and comparing it with knives that I do know some history on, I would say this has to be at least 40 or 50 years old. So, you know, probably going back into the 60s, maybe even earlier. But I think this is cool, and my personal feelings on Schrade are that I really like a lot of the stuff that they put out in terms of the comfort of it, and the price point for the type of steel they're using. You know, a lot of stuff like $35 for an 8-inch blade that's $10.95, but you got to wonder about that heat treat. If it's only $40, $35, whatever it is, you know, you got to wonder if it was really done at a professional level. And we already know that a lot of it's done over in China. And you know, while China is on the up and up with a lot of their quality, I think probably not so much with you know, $10.95. If it's saying $10.95 made in China, I'm gonna have some apprehension there. So anyway, I'd really like to know your thoughts on that. I'm not the most educated person on knife steels and the geographic difference between $10.95 here and elsewhere, or between different companies. So Your feedback down below would be greatly appreciated for all the viewers, I'm sure. So if you know something solid, then please share it with us, educate us. We would all love to read that. And let me know what you think of the Snakeskin over Kydex Sheath. It's got a nice matte finish, black base color. Yeah. All right. That's what I got for you guys. So like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you tuning in, and stick around for the next one. God bless, guys.